Says preparing live stream. Here we go. Howdy, folks. Welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And I was worried it wasn't going to get going there for a second. We know we've all had some trouble here, but here we are. And finally, after many times trying, I got Miss Genevieve to join me and Kent tonight. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. No need to be nervous. Like I said, nothing but
I'm not
family.
nervous. I'm just like, wow. I'm trying
Awesome.
to tone it down
Energy
so
flowing.
I don't put the live.
Good.
No need to be nervous.
That's my fault.
I'm not nervous. I'm just like, wow.
You're
I
just
know
like,
her.
what?
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. Well, anyway, sorry for all the technical difficulties, folks.
Seriously, Brian?
What?
I'm
Yeah,
just
seriously?
Yeah.
Couldn't wear a better shirt tonight. Happy? What do you got on? Just a white shirt, Kent? What's your hat say?
I have a white shirt on. Oh, 2020. That's the home inspection company I work for.
It's also 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah, that's funny. Hey, that's the name of the home inspection company. Ironically, you know. Hey,
Was it started this year?
No,
Oh, good.
probably about 8-9 years ago. But
Hey, hindsight.
exactly. It's really relative right now, though. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So, Genevieve, how's it going?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, you live up on the east coast of Canada, right? You said around the Ontario?
Yeah, I'm about 3 hours from Toronto, so just above the Great Lakes.
Oh, yeah, Toronto, Ontario. I still don't know my Canadian geography.
No, well then, like, about a
Toronto's
quarter
pretty
way.
much straight
About a
up
quarter
above you.
way.
That's what she was saying, and I'm pretty much due south from her, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder about the similarities. Like, you know, I know how, like, I live here in the South in America, and I know the differences because I've traveled around the country. I wonder the differences in Canada, like the East Coast and West Coast and the people, you know?
It's huge.
Very,
I
very
I had
different.
never done the East Coast before, and when me and Lily Rose did it this summer, it's completely different from the West Coast. The West Coast energy, like of Canada, what I've seen is like it's just people who are happy. They moved there, they wanted to be there. Their locals are happy to be there usually, you know, like, yeah,
It sort of sounds like the California attitude here in America.
Yeah, but then you go to the East Coast and it's like so family oriented and just so more close knit. Like legit, we like camped just anywhere we felt safe.
You know, I find that interesting because
Awesome.
the East Coast here is more family oriented. And I wonder if that's because maybe when supposedly, you know, besides the natives that were here, but when the white people came from Europe, I wonder if it's because those old family values kind of stayed on the eastern side of North America, and then all your free spirits are the one that ventured west.
But this free spirits are just as family oriented, but it's not in a I'm anchored, I have to live in the same place my whole life type of way.
Yeah,
It's
there's like
different
families up in New York and stuff like that. And of course, I know rents are high and stuff like that, but like literally whole families will live together their entire lives, like, you know, and marry in with people and their families move in. Like, shoot, I couldn't handle that. I love my family, but I like my space.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Yeah, I like my space. I love my family too. So, I mean, a lot of Asian cultures are a lot more like that too, where families stick together, you know, throughout all the generations and stuff. And there is a nice aspect to that. I mean, you know, the younger kind of help out with, you know, the aging a little bit more. And, but, you know, teach their own. I'm a pretty free-spirited, pretty hard to tie down type of character. I've been lots of places all over the earth. So
Who you telling? Me too. I like that free spirit. I wished I was still able to get around like I used to. Lord have mercy. Of course, don't really have the means to do the traveling now, but you know, you can just go and camp and do things like that. And I mean, to me, that's just as much as enjoyable as, well, I don't know if about going to an island or something. I'd love to go to an island. Of course, Kent's getting ready to move to an island.
Yep. Yes, I'm moving to an island, so that's cool. But I mean, Vancouver
Right
Island
on.
is a pretty big island. I think it's the size of Ireland. So I mean, it's still a pretty
Really?
big island, but yeah.
What end of the island? Like near Tofino or Yuki or like?
No, just right on the south end, just near Victoria,
Okay,
outside of Victoria, between Victoria and Nanaimo.
right on.
Well, let's see who we got with us real quick, and then we're gonna get to know Genevieve a little bit, and then we'll just kind of free flow discussion after that. So let me back her up and see who we got with us. Well, Genevieve, she's right off the bat.
I said hello.
Yeah, there's Miss Bridget. Good to see her over here, and Karen Amrita Vivica. Well, welcome, welcome,
Hey,
welcome. She must be one of your viewers as well. There's Thoughts and Perceptions Out Loud. How you doing? Good to see you. Mr. David Castle, what's going on, buddy? There's Alex Fox. What's going on, my brother? Need to be
Right
getting him on here soon. Agony Get.
I call him G.
Okay, Agony the Getney Samane. Welcome. I'd like to know what the name means. Saturnian Sun, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. So you brought a little tribe with you then, didn't you? Miss Candy Apple, what's going on? Miss Deborah Trudeau, good to see you, hon. Who else we got going on? Zigzag Zill, what's up, buddy? I want to get him back on
Nice.
here. Do you know
Nice,
Zigzag?
Zigzag.
Do you know
We
Zigzag?
don't talk. We don't talk, but
Man, I'm telling you,
I know.
he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Right on.
So who else we got going on here? Rolling. Miss Chloe, what's going on? Thank you so much for donating $10, Chloe. Thank you. Namaste. Angel Fish, what's going on? Welcome. Witch Moon 73. That must be another Genevieve. Nova, is it starting? Yes. Miss Rebecca Galactinoff, how you doing, honey? Good to see you. Scott Murphy, welcome. Lost in Space. Good to see you. There's Miss Jen's Gems. Gotta love her. I know you know her as well.
I do. My Jenny.
Ann Allen, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. Who else we got? That way, what's going on? Who else we got going? El Payaso, good to see you again. Lolo in Lakesh Alakin Chavez, how you doing? Miss Diane Reed.
Right on. Doris.
They rolling in there. There's Miss Delaney, how you doing, hon?
Awesome.
Scratch, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. All right, I think I got caught up. Yep. So, Miss Genevieve, what is going on? I'll tell you what, like I said, she wasn't too fond of this, but as y'all all know, when I have somebody on here new, I like to get to know them a little bit. And we don't have to get in depth or in detail or anything like that, but I like to kind of get the gist of maybe how I hate the word awakening. It is what it is. So, but how did your awakening, so to say, start? Was you born this way? Did it happen a few years ago? How's your journey?
I would say I was born this way.
That's Lily Rose in the background.
And you know, especially now with the bird's eye view, see clearly where I chose, like, you know, light sleep, more sleep, no sleep at all, like go hard.
I was going to say, what is this sleep you speak of?
Go back to sleep. go back and eat another steak. Like you're woke, but if nobody's woke with you,
that kind of sleep,
you go back to sleep. You play the parts, you do the things when there's nobody around, right? You're still in the knowing, but you can't scream out loud too much. You're going to get, you know, put away in a way.
Yeah, I embrace
it too much, so you tone it down, even if you feel those things or speak in the first person. So, but Kundalini wise and like this part of the journey wise would have been 2008, 2009.
Okay.
Kundalini awakening to the point where I picked up a card on the ground. It was the King of Spades of clubs, excuse me. And for the next, I don't know how many days, life was not the same. I called it a panic attack at the time, but it was like a full blown, like, woo, everything opening.
Yeah.
So many things coming through, the words, the poetry, the and keeping it like so wide open that I had to tone it back down, and live certain things consciously and knowing I had experiences to go through. One of those was having another child, because I had already had my, 3D, I did my life, family.
Mhm.
I didn't think I would have other children. And I started to dream of Lily Rose. And I had her 2 days before I turned 40.
Wow.
So we're talking a lot of, when I saw the life lessons with the Kundalini awakening, like there was like a lot of visions and stuff.
Mhm.
And
I find it interesting you talk about how everything's flooding in and all that, because I told you a little bit about my experience and how I use drugs and alcohol to mask everything, because it's almost like you feel like you're crazy with all these visions and like and voices and things coming in. And I couldn't imagine, like, we see all the anguish in the world today, but I can kind of understand and relate, because some of these people that don't realize that really what's going on with their bodies, like, that truly can drive you mad. And so I see why they misunderstand it and why there's so much anguish. And plus with all the programming that wants to drive you down that avenue anyway. So I mean, I'm glad that you were able to actually perceive that.
one of the things I realized like last week, just to put the words around it, is that the hardest thing about like awakening at all is that so much of our inner knew. So all the lies we were told, all the times we knew we shouldn't do something, or we shouldn't have had something done. All those, that bowl of forgiveness is so big, right?
Mhm.
And for no wonder it's overwhelming and it's very hard, and the chaos that is a reflection right now. That's why the way I perceive it is that we've been warned as people who have researched this or thought about it, and just knowing. So the patience to be had of people going through an accelerated, not getting a year, 2 years, or 12 years, but only getting weeks or months and maybe days. It's going fast.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I couldn't imagine it all coming flooding in at
Yeah.
once. Like, I'm glad mine was a little bit spoon fed to me.
And
Now,
even now, I always feel like, I can't burst anymore. I can't see colors any brighter. I can't hear anymore, no matter how far I've gone. And it's like, whoa,
Oh, yes, you can.
again. And it's like, whoa. So, and it's the solid inner knowing that kept me going, but it's the finding dribs and drabs of like just people to, yeah, I understand that along the way, even if it wasn't a lot. So now that tribe feeling of really being able to connect, like to the point that my people, like, we want to be together. They're here with me right now. We are one, we're together, right? And to what point that's a pivot, to be able to find anyone and then multiply that, amplify that, the strength in numbers, it's big.
So you never was like really indoctrinated into any kind of religion or anything like that?
No, I wasn't even good at being like in Girl Guides or brownies. Like I couldn't do the stuff. I can't. I'm not a good learner with other people. So, I went through the school system because of the era that I was in, 80s and 90s. That's just the thing that we did. And, was the person in detention and in the corner out of class. I always managed to not get expelled because I just didn't want to be at home for real. Being at school, was awesome. Detention was the best part of the day. That's it. But I never, I can't, I couldn't follow the teacher. I was always just belligerent. And, I, 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 yeah, brownies and Girl Guides was like one of the only things I tried to do piano lessons, but to be told what to do, how to sit, I just I couldn't. So it's all like the self-taught and
Yeah, the education system never really was for me. I mean, I did decent school, but I literally never took a book home a day in my life to study or anything. But I was one of those, I found the secrets was, trying to get into sports and then get into every club I could just so I didn't have to go to classes. I'd be in these different clubs doing stuff all the time. So that's how I found my way around. And plus, like, I've always been creative. I like, I was on the annual staff and did all things. I love doing art and making the videos and things like that.
yeah.
Yeah, the systems have a way of stealing our creativity. So I think that we just kind of naturally, inertly rebel against that and kind of focus towards being more creative. That was like me. Like I didn't really try at school. I mean, I did pretty good at school. It was pretty, because it's easy to learn. It's just a system, right? It doesn't really
Yeah.
teach a lot. So.
No,
Yeah, you learn to
said,
stay under the radar. You do the things that you got to do. It was intentional to be in detention. It really was. If I hadn't found an excuse to be in detention by a certain time, I would just pull down my socks. I was in a Catholic school. We had to have our socks pulled up. So if by 1 o'clock I wasn't told I was in detention, I'd just pull down the socks to be told. It was the way to not, and then when I got older, I would go to work after. But I mean,
Yeah.
just it,
I definitely wasn't one to fly on the radar. I've always liked being out front. How
Yeah.
was you, Kent, in school? I mean, did you lay low or was you one of those?
Yeah, I seemed to know everybody in school, but I was kind of a loner, you know what I mean? So that was kind of my thing. I ended up in the end, I guess I skipped a lot of school too. So, but I preferred smoking weed out in the parking lot to going to school all the time, but whatever.
Never got into the weed until I got to college.
Oh, I definitely got into weed in junior high school and high school.
I was around it all the time. I just never did it. I don't know. I drank some beer in high school. But that was about it.
Yeah, I don't really do it too much anymore. I don't really do.
I can't. It just don't agree with me anymore. And like I said, I used to be a full blown alcoholic, and I just can't. I just don't have the taste for it anymore. Now I'm not saying like when I went to the beach last year, I had a few mixed drinks and maybe a beer, and that was good. But like, you're not going to find me drinking around here, nothing like that. It just doesn't do it for me anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing, excuse me, like we talk a lot how, and I'm going to ask you about this, Genevieve, as well, but how a lot of us look younger now, and I'm trying to eat healthier and be healthier now. And Genevieve, have you noticed that you've gotten younger looking throughout the past few years?
Yeah, I've been on like the I call it like experimentation of it for myself, like for the last 12 years, basically. Because I'm 48 and a half, and I'm conscious of how being 48 and a half with young children, just the single mom thing. And so, there's a part of me, like when I stopped dyeing my hair, it was to look older, not to look younger because I already did. And so, but yeah, and there's a full on inside and out DNA body upgrade. I'm not one to, I don't want to point myself out there. I'm not a documenter, like not at all. But like it's real and it's a
No, well,
rewiring.
yes, you are a documenter. What are you talking about? You do live streams almost every day.
I do, but I'm like, it's a free flow. Whatever's going to come out is going to come
That's
out. I'm not
documenting, and
sitting
that's one of
here-
the best things you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely a free flower. I don't think I've ever prepared for anything that I've ever spoke about ever.
Me neither.
So
I gave that up a long time ago.
yeah.
Never
But
will.
what I mean by not documenter is that I'm not going to sit here. I don't have my dates, my statistics. I know that if I choose to put on weight, I'm choosing it. When I want it to, flow off, it will. Just certain things.
Hey, if it feels good.
Yeah, and just the alignment within. It's what I believe about food, not what food is told to me. The things that I believe are good for me and what I choose to are for my greater good, not from anything outside of me.
Absolutely. I mean, we are spiritual beings, just within a particular incarnation, particular level of creation here. I mean, so
But we're
yeah,
spiritual beings having a human experience, but let's enjoy it. Like to have all this guilt of all these things that, from a higher perspective, we're not going to have certain ice creams and certain products. Enjoy it while they're there. They're already there. Do the exchange of energy with joy when you go somewhere. Treat people well. Be kind. There's a reason we still purchase things. It's to put our soul signatures where we go. So just enjoy. We're here. Enjoy.
That's exactly right. We are here to enjoy. And I said that I think last week. I think that's why the world is overpopulated, because they've had us enslaved for so long that these bodies keep, basically, for lack of a better term, piling up, because nobody is truly ascending, because they've trapped us here. So I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't feel trapped though. Like I really don't.
You're not.
I'm a witness to many people who feel trapped, but I'm not. I'm here because I'm pulling people through.
Right.
I forget who I was watching at one point that said, like, what's the point in being at the party if you're the only one, right? So it's just about like inviting everybody to the party by planting seeds, by being in awareness, by being present in what's around in any given time that I'm guided to do for the greater good.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could do what you do. Like I can't get on here every day and talk for an hour or 2 hours by myself. Like, so I commend you for that. And to be honest with you, where you are on daily like that, and for such an amount of time, like I know you've seen it, with just the new people coming in. Like I'll pop in your live streams. I may not say anything in the live stream, but I'm listening and watching who's chatting and all that. And I'm seeing new faces come in all the time. And that's because you're out there putting the groundwork in. And that's exactly what I'm trying to encourage everybody else to do too.
Yeah.
And not necessarily every day, but like put out a 15-second video once a week, like I said, just saying I love you or something. It's as easy as that. So
it's all about show yourself. And for me, after doing the steps to not really being bothered by being in front of the camera, like at all, if one of the ways that I can gather where people feel safe and we talk and it's just like and it's we can't all be together for coffee. We really want to. We know we are not to figure out how to manifest that right now, but we're also all on it that if action needs to be taken, we're on it. But we know right now that the most important thing is to just hold the frequency and to open trust between the masculine and feminine, where we just speak openly. We really do. And it's like grade school, like the ultimate grade school, where no one's getting bullied, people are safe, they feel comfortable, and if that's big. Some people
Absolutely.
never had that in real life yet.
Right.
So it's big. It's big. I think it's really huge, you know, like we're not getting that in our reality. So to create the bonds between the masculine and the feminine, that we're safe. We are here to support each other. It's real. It really is.
Absolutely. Real quick, Ian Barber has a question. He says, can you ask Genevieve to expand on that soul signature she spoke of?
We are we're a walking ritual. We are energy.
Good way to
Where
put
we go, what we do, how we do it, a lot, depending on where you're at and how you perceive, you begin to realize that it is all important and planned. And
it's like I
just,
say, every thought sends a ripple out through the universe. So
yeah.
every thought matters.
So yes, every thought, every single one. So especially the ones that are so forgivable because everybody thinks that or it's allowed. Is it? Do you feel good when you've thought that? Um, so what you're putting out is what you're going to get back. So when people are shocked at what they're getting back, well, if you cut someone off, you're going to get cut off in a different way, in some other way. When you live your life just kind of letting other people go first, why not? Are you in a hurry? But then that one time you're in a hurry, boom, everything opens itself up to you because you're never in a hurry and you're always letting everybody go first. So the soul signature that's a part of it, but it's also the contracts. When we're sitting there and we're guided to do something, we're pushed to do things, we know we have to be somewhere, we don't even know why we're going somewhere, but every interaction counts, every smile, every people are like crying out to, you know, listen to me, I have the numbers, I have knowledge, I have all these things. But when you open your eyes to the reality that's around you and just kind of say, wow, 1313, that's a sync. Well, sometimes the person like right beside you is that person, right? So, and they might not, just the word sinks in, and that's a seed. So just, there's everything we do is a soul signature, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. That's what they even said in chat.
Yeah, everything is a ripple on the energy patterns and you know, with everyone around you. That's why more can be done just in a small example than even in like a big speech or something like that. You know, it's when it hits somebody and it catches them. Like sometimes, you know, just certain things, it's like if the universe wants you to know something, you could read 100 books, and if it wasn't what you were supposed to know, you could literally open up and look at like your coffee cup, and there could be a word on the coffee cup that the universe uses to expand or you know what's meant by it. And that's what sometimes we can search too much without just understanding that if you can just be, everything will always just come anyways, you know? Like it is very important. It sounds cheesy, but I mean, it is just very important to be the best that you can be. And the truth is that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like that is just how you and what it is to you. It could be the littlest things, you know. So
but I'll give you an example of that. I joined a writers group just to see if I could, you know, do that thing where I make it happen, that I meet people and bond, you know. And yeah, that didn't work out. But when I was speaking to the writer person that, was in charge of the group, one thing he couldn't understand is that I didn't need or want validation. I wasn't there for him to teach me how to do anything. I didn't need him or want him to like critique or analyze. It was like I looked at him and said, if you're not just going to read it for pleasure, like, well, no. And he's like, don't you want to share it with the world? Don't you want everybody? Don't you want your book? And I was like, well, no. But if I do, I'll do it. I don't need that. I just want people to put content out, share stuff. I don't need, for me to do it if I don't want to.
Yeah.
There's nothing to prove. I already know I can write. I don't have to prove that to anybody.
Absolutely.
And that pissed him off like really big time. It insulted him when I told him my favorite thing to do was when I was just me, no child, to go for a drive and then just stop randomly, like where there's a crowd of, summary people or a restaurant, and write and free flow. And that really, just because I showed him a free flow and told him I didn't change anything. I didn't even spell check. And, just he the person that ponders a line for a month, a year is, he wasn't impressed with, he wasn't happy. It was sour grapes, right? Whatever the words, but, and so, but that's the thing is that people, when they see that people flow, they don't encourage it usually, right? They don't elevate it and pivot it. They tend to try to squash that down. You can't do that.
Program it, regiment it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
yeah.
What you said earlier, yeah, there just is no need to impress anyone. Everything that is of any importance actually comes from free flow. Like, people spend and everything we're taught is sometimes a big waste of, you just want to take that creative energy and then it has to be programmed or compartmentalized to be presented in this world, and that's because this world, the problem with this plane is that it looks to outer stand more than it looks to inner stand. So, but that's what's important even about like these groups and when we come together and here's something. Some people sometimes are so worried about where their true spiritual other people, friends, influences are going to come from, when what you don't realize is that they're already coming. You're not going to stop it from coming. There's always the flow of energy in the universe from this incarnation, other incarnations, who we are, and as we experience, and things happen naturally. Like you see this in relationships all the time. People panicking. When am I going to find love? When am I going to find this? And then they'll say, oh, well, people will say it's when you stop looking for it, it'll come. Well, that's kind of the truth, but it's also, it still doesn't if you're force feeding something in the back of your mind. Just because you stop presenting it, you're almost like being artificial to yourself. Just go be the best you can be, and then everything will come to flow to you. So
Genevieve,
have you ever seen the movie? Go ahead.
People in
Yes.
chat was wanting to know if you would share your email.
Yeah, it's
I can put it in chat. I'll put it in chat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can go ahead and talk then. I just wanted to make sure because I don't like giving it out without asking.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. All right. No, you can go ahead and talk. I'm going to put it in chat. Yeah.
I was gonna say, Kent, have you seen The Lake House, the movie with Keanu Reeves? Just happens to be that.
Okay. Have I seen
Have you
it?
seen that movie? Yeah.
No.
It's a
No.
thing about like bouncing in time, right? And they meet, but it's in a different time frame. So, anyways, it's just the example of timelines if they are
Yeah.
not meant to the butterfly effect. We can bend timelines. You can wish for something so much that you're going to bring someone into your reality faster than they need to be there.
Right.
But the nightmare and the yucky stuff or the resistance and just the story that wasn't meant to be is not usually, amazing. Or like when you hang on to someone too long, and then the timeline is there for the other stuff, the other people are still coming in,
Absolutely.
so
Let me ask your
there is
opinion on this real quick. So you're talking about the merging timelines, switching timelines, and I see a lot of that in a lot of different things. And I don't know if you know much about the Mandela effect. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that explains the changing of timelines, the Mandela effect? In one timeline we're seeing it this way, and another timeline we're seeing it another way. Wouldn't
Yeah.
I go ahead.
Well, I
wouldn't
was
that
just going to
describe?
give a perspective on the Mandela effect.
Please.
Because everything is flowing and everything is changing. And because in this perspective of incarnation, we're seeing things as only moving one way in timeline. We're like the Mandela effect is because time is not linear. So everything can change both backwards, forwards, and everything is changing all at once. There is no such thing as utter static, or as nothing can be completely stopped. So everything is flowing in all directions. So if more manifestation thought goes into something from the past can change just as much as something from the future. So in reality, both of these things that we call the Mandela effect existed. They existed then and they exist now. So
In a holographic universe, all timelines are existing and happening at once. So
yeah.
And that's what I believe in now. I didn't used to. What's your
Well,
thoughts on holographic universe?
I believe we manifest reality. Like
Absolutely.
that's basic.
Yes.
So we are manifesting the Mandela effect. And really when we understand, or when the frequency is high enough that we actually, are collectively at a thought of, a resonance of enough things, that's when certain changes can happen. I think that a lot of people are so focused on the little things of the Mandela effect, like, oh, my movie line changed. Oh, my movie star is skinnier or fatter, or all of this stuff. But no one is actually like harnessing this, of realizing that, we can wake up tomorrow in a world without borders if we actually had the frequency of believing it. Everything's right there in front of us. We're playing out the shit show, but all we need is to boom, really believe it.
Get
But the
enough on
focus
board.
is so scattered, and that's where like the having the patience and the the wherewithal of just being patient, that all the steps everybody gets the steps of being overwhelmed. And put it really bluntly, like, just everybody's so busy looking at this that we could be doing this, but it is the step by step. So
Yep.
There's no judgment of anybody not doing anything right. I believe that we are much farther ahead than what anything looks like at all.
I agree. I believe that's why you're seeing the things going on in the news that you're seeing. They're throwing literally everything they can at us right now because they're freaking out.
I understand that, but I do believe that even me, myself, and all of me is still dipping into things of that nature because, and it's because I'm like gathering people that I'm dipping into it, but even I'm focusing my energies on certain things. I would have never known about certain things going on in the US, but so I'm putting energy into it. So when I say everyone, it's everyone, like in the littlest, because usually I'm like full not looking at any of that. I wouldn't even know.
Right.
So, but I'm asked, and it's part of my mission. Me right now, what I'm asked to do is to dip so that the people that don't understand the spiritual type of part of what's going to happen or happening inside of them, I'm kind of poking into different places so that they can kind of see me or I can see them, and just kind of, I don't know, the example I would have would be like seeing someone in a live stream that doesn't really understand of what they're seeing, or am I really dreaming of this? Could this really be happening? And it's like, yeah, dude, you're not crazy. Just that first person to be telling that, or the first one that's actually freaky enough to talk about it, not just saying, yeah, bro, I have those dreams too, but that you can't find anything that puts it in the perspective of, yeah,
It's funny how we're led there, though. I mean, if we don't find it on our own, eventually we'll be led there. I got a real quick question from Chloe in chat. She wants to know, is there anything that we can do when we bring someone on our timeline that necessarily didn't belong here at this moment? Anyone?
Everyone has their free will. It's not anyone, unless it's a child under your, that you're the caregiver for specifically. Anyone else's choices is not none of our business. Like, that's just how this works, is, unless you have the mother child, father child, and whoever the soul contract is with that child is the pivotal thing right now, because it's about soul contracts. So
I
there
wouldn't
could
think
be
that they would
people
be
with
on.
soul contracts to give certain information, to give certain energies, to give certain healings, but there's a detachment and a letting go to be had, because otherwise you're giving your power away and you're not allowing somebody to live their
I
thing.
wouldn't think they would be on this timeline unless they were supposed to be. That would just be my
I
personal
yeah, I'm not in with, I don't resonate with the fact that there would be people like timeline jumping in a way that they're not meant to be. I think those things right now is something that we've collectively agreed that, the light has won. It really has. So what is actually allowed and actually working through, that's why we're being shown the most exaggerated, most crazy stuff, and that it's being put out there and mass manufactured Hollywood style, so that we don't even realize to what point that the light has won. It's stronger, it's deeper, there's more love than there is of the hate right now.
Yeah.
And the hate is just so predominant, shown that that's what people are, even empaths or people that are of energy work. It's like you have to know yourself by now, to really but it's fast. So if you realize all of a sudden, like, I'm not grounded, I'm not feeling, anchored, or is this mine, is one of the most important things you can ask yourself. Do I feel this way right now because of me? Ground, and then, figure out your stuff, which direction you're going in, but
So do you consider you're an empath? I know, like, when I started doing these shows, like, whoa, I was getting all these feelings coming in from all these people. And, at the time I didn't realize I was feeling other people's energy, but like doing those live streams, do you pick up on other people's energy?
I pick up on energies big time. I notice the difference right now. I did not turn a chat on. which feels weird because I'm feeling like I really want to be multitasking and
Yeah,
really
you're
miss
used to
seeing my
following it.
I really am used to following it, but I'm trying it this one time to see where I'm going to go with it, depending on another time, because I want to be focused. But I'm used to the bouncing. I miss that part. But what was I going to say? I forgot. What was I saying?
Shit, I don't know.
You were multitasking, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that part, but I want to be
I
just
get it.
like, just.
Yeah, I
Oh yeah,
I
for
don't
the
usually
energy.
follow
Sorry.
chat when I'm on. Just I sometimes do a little bit, but yeah, I've come to this just recently. No, not just recently, but I was for the longest time. I was always patient to just let the message, like a more like a divine message or a spiritual message kind of come through. But you know, it is cool when you talk about multitasking, because that's the way I could be too, where you're between multiple things, and then you just let everything kind of flow into each thing. And you know, there's different ways to communicate a message and stuff like that. But I was actually coming on because I've had such just huge revelations in the last couple weeks. I always do. I mean, it's just not, it is kind of nonstop with me, because I have so much inner communication with I don't know, different levels of creation and different beings and within creation, that sometimes it's hard for me to focus on this 3D. But yeah, I mean, sometimes just explaining without even explaining anything is kind of enough. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with that. Now I'm just going on.
Actually, I want to get back to Genevieve anyway, because the energies is what we were talking about.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am feeling the difference right now of the fact that I'm not looking at who's there, but I just, that heart thing, it's like an, so I can feel like, I don't tell me right now, I'll look later, or tell me at the end. I don't want to know how many energies are there. I want to know later.
Okay.
I have no clue. Like, there could be 5 people, there could be 50. I don't know. But you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to go with what I feel. I know that, you know, some of my peeps are there that I'm close to. So I'm kind of like in a thing where I'm not listening for anyone.
Right.
So that I can be focused here. So if anybody's like, you know, I kind of put it like that shield up where I said I wouldn't multitask, and I really mean it. It's like the 3 of us, even if I only see me and you right now. I don't know how to change the screen to see us all at the same time. But you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I'm glad you didn't. Like I said, especially on the first time, I always recommend people don't watch chat, because, you know, it like I said, it can be distracting a lot of times. But trust me, chat's been loving you. That my moderators have shared your channel, plus your, you know, I shared your emails. So hopefully we'll get some folks over there to join up with you too. So it's been great. Ken, I'm gonna have to have you back on Sunday if you're free. Thinking about doing a guys' night Sunday night.
Yeah. Oh, with me?
Yeah. Well, a few of them.
I didn't know who you were talking to there for a second.
Well, no, that's what I was saying. I said, you know, I really wanted
I thought
to
we
get
were having a guys' night right now.
Well, like I told Ken, I was like, you know, I want this to be about Genevieve, but you know, I didn't know if he was going to be nervous or anything, and I wanted to have a fellow Canadian here with us. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to do my opening. I was going to do. Howdy, folks! Welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Eh?
Hey,
I forgot.
Hey, see?
That's perfect.
We'll save it for next time, because I definitely want to have you back on here.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and I guess, oh yeah, Sunday is Father's Day. That's right. So.
Oh, so that's perfect Guys' Day show. I didn't even think about that. Cool. Well, yeah, we'll do that then. So, Genevieve, we got about 10 minutes left. Whatever you want to get out there, a message, I mean, what you're all about. Tell people how they can find you. Like I said, we did share your channel and we shared your email, but if you
I
want to
know.
say,
Is there any questions or anything like that comes up?
I haven't, I
I
haven't
just
watched in a
bounce
sec.
off questions. So if there's anything specific, what am I about? I'm just out here being me. Whatever it flows towards is what I'm meant to be. That's pretty much it. Like really. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There-
That's one of what you just said about being you. If that is one thing that we could all focus on, is just be ourselves.
yeah.
Do not let this world tell you or put you into a box. You at any moment in time, just be yourself. If you find resistance around yourself, absolutely don't worry about it. I mean, really, the only reason that there is resistance to any person just being themselves is because of programming.
Yeah.
In all essence, you should never be concerned with how another being is being themselves. I understand when there's harm being done and this and that, but the people that are within this community, this is not what's happening in this community. That's a different aspect of this reality that we're in. That's the more archonic aspect of this reality, where unfortunately those people that are running in a lot of the power positions, which is ridiculous on its own, why we give anybody a power position in this reality is beyond me, because right there is a problem. But see, things like when they are in control of media or in control of this, that is magic. So when we talked earlier about manifestation, so what happens in media, whether it's a good manifestation or a bad manifestation, you literally just have to insert the manifestation into it, and that's when it becomes magic. So if you want something like a virus, this virus, that virus, or any of these things that come, you just simply insert it into the media if you have control over the media, and that manifestation hits enough souls that naturally those souls that are partaking in it in any way, shape, or form, good or bad, will inadvertently manifest it. So that's how these things change and the manifestations of these things go. This is why I know that Brian and I have talked about this before. You have to let go of the world system, be yourself, and then we create our own natural manifestations. See, the more you're away from the artificial or the programming or this or that, or at least not wise in what you're using it for, then everything becomes a manifestation. Like this last issues that's going on here in this plane, there's probably not one single being on the whole planet. Well, there's some, those that are completely away from it, that haven't partaken somewhat in the manifestation of it, purposely or unpurposely. Like you don't necessarily mean it, but you still partook in bringing the manifestation to reality. So.
Well, that's just like all these riots and stuff around the world. Like I think that's what you were talking about. I assume.
Yeah, the riots and this past.
I mean, that's all media driven. I mean, why would they be writing about George Floyd in Australia, in Paris?
Right. I mean, it's all scripted, and that's see. And the thing is that many beings that do not intentionally mean to bring apart a darker magic, because that's what it is, do inadvertently even trying to be good about what you're doing or manifesting. It's just this is this has been on my mind all week for some reason, and I don't even know why. That whole saying of take all your thoughts captive, or whatever that saying is, for some reason that's been going through my brain all week, because you do have to, if you want to leave any sort of manifestation that you don't want to partake in, or you want to present a new form of it, you do have to be in control of those thoughts. I know earlier you were talking about, both you were talking just about how powerful each thought is and how it ripples and ripples and ripples. So when you can control a thought and allow, a true creative natural thought to flow through, it ripples too. So yeah, it is a very powerful thing. Like, we are very powerful little we are very powerful aspects of source, and without, and if you don't realize that, you can inadvertently cause a lot of either problems or good, or many things, because we do have that power.
Listen to this real quick. Karen Lynn says, and I think this is a question, I'm not sure. It says, Bible and basic information before leaving Earth that I heard today. What would Christ, Yoda, Mahatma do if asked for the highest good for yourself and all sentient beings? Kent, you want to tackle that one?
You got to repeat that one to me, because I missed the beginning of it.
Okay. Bible and basic information before leaving Earth, period. That I heard today. What would Christ, Yoda, Mahatma do if asked for the highest good for yourself and all sentient beings? I guess, how would they react?
All of these, like, this is all about the message, and really, I would say that one of the most important things, that's why you're always supposed to know yourself, so know your power, and know that you're a creator, and know that you're a manifester. See, where we are here in this particular plane, there is a huge population of souls that don't understand the fact that they are creators, and they don't know themselves, because that's really the trap here. The trap here is not not knowing yourself and giving outside power to others that are basically do not have your best interest at heart, and you give that away. If what Christ, one of Christ's main messages, and I'm not talking like the biblical, I'm talking for me to understand Christ is a message that comes down directly through source and through the proper avenues of creation to bring a truthful, natural message. So that would be to understand who you are, because the only reason you can get into trouble in creation is actually not knowing who and what you are. Because if you do, and when you do, all aspects of wanting to take away from other sentient beings disappears. You no longer want to take from other sentient beings. You want to be able to help uplift other sentient beings. And really, that's all you really truly want to do within.
I got another question, and I can kind of add on this, but Mary Wynn said, ask Kent. There's many satanic rituals and parades coming this weekend. How do we help keep the love vibration up? I mean, for me, it's as simple as you just walk in that place of love, be that beacon of light.
Yeah. Don't judge it. Don't judge it. Just everything is source. It's playing itself out, and focus attention where it feels good, of the highest vibration, so that those things can just, it can't continue to play itself out if we don't focus energy towards it. And the only way through is to forgive, just no, we're not forgiving and believing that things should still go on and perpetuate and happen. But you know, the full awareness that each soul chooses their journey also allows for the souls that chose those things. And we can't make a new world if these things are hanging on.
Yeah, absolutely. Walk your path.
Yeah.
Be the example if nobody else around you even is the example. And if they are, because they will, yeah, like it is about just standing strong within yourself, you know? That's it's important. It's hard sometimes because we feel like we're going to be judged, but remember, there's nobody to judge you. So you know, just be be the example. And yeah, there's of course right now in the world, and it's been going on for quite some time. I mean, you know, there's open satanic rituals and closed ones, and really they have, even when we go to schools and works and you know, even the mask thing right now and stuff, this is all satanic ritual. And
But that's where the know thyself and focusing our attention elsewhere and just believing in that higher power that, you know, the light is in full control. And the only way that it can, you know, just really overcome is to stop focusing any outward energy into anything.
absolutely.
We're keeping the manifestation alive by focusing energy on it. And you know,
And we are here also to heal darkness, to heal
yeah,
what's lost. So when you do that, you see you can be the spark for something that you couldn't even imagine you could be the spark for. Like if you were to take, say, a being like Yaldabaoth, who basically could be considered your Satan, it's needed to be healed so that spirit within can remember it, you know. But you're right, like Genevieve said it earlier, like everything is source, so there has to be an experience. And you know, one thing I was thinking, I was thinking maybe a week ago, sometimes I try to put myself in Source's shoes. You know, not that I can, but you know, I still can if it's of the best intentions. Think about it. I could think about how hard it and it could also be to have to know yourself, you know, just like you're learning to know yourself, these darknesses that need to be healed. Unfortunately, aspects or beings of source need to go there. And a big reason why we are here in certain realms to help heal those things, those what we conceive as wickedness and evil. You see, it's healed. It's like leave no soldier on the battlefield almost. It's like
yeah,
there still is an aspect, and you, everything can be healed. Because if everything couldn't be healed, then you would be kind of undermining the whole creative process of source. So, you know, but it's tough to see sometimes, definitely.
it it's not always just been about forgiving, you know, the forgivable. It's about forgiving the unforgivable. There's a mercy to be had, and to look from a perspective of, like, you know, we consider intergenerational ancestral trauma in our DNA. Well, where's that mercy for a family that, you know, with certain bloodlines as well, that they didn't choose to a certain point? You know, yes, all souls choose as source. We chose all of this. But if we are back at source, if we are source, then all of this is forgiven, and it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
We did the whole full circle. You know,
Merci. Saturnian sun says merci. Well, an hour's come and gone. What'd you think, Genevieve?
that was awesome.
So you definitely come back
good.
again?
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I tell you what, I always give each one of you a final thought. We'll let Kent start, and then I'll give you the final word, and we'll wrap her up.
Oh, for me, I think a lot of things have been said. Like always, you know, we come here to learn, we come here to experience, we come here to bond with each other. And, you know, I can take away some cool things that I've learned tonight from Genevieve, and always from you, Brian, and just, you know, it's, well, you know, because we're open to understanding, you know, be open to understanding where we're going through, and, you know, we're eternally learning. So it's kind of yeah, no, it was a great experience, and it's good to meet you, Genevieve. And I haven't really been on any podcasting. I've been watching nothing for the last like month. I think I told Brian that I just kind of got away for a little bit, but no, very, very cool. And it's good to see that you're getting out there and, you know, expressing your message and who you are and stuff like that. So that's great.
You know, it's funny. The only channels I really watch lately is the small channels. I watched Wayne the other day for the first time in a while, but I just don't watch YouTube anymore. If I do, like I said, I'll pop in. I don't chat anymore, but I'll pop in Genevieve's chat, and then there's a couple others, you know, I'll check in every now and then. It's just, I don't know. It's been a lot of a distraction for me, you know. Plus, of course, everything's getting going here. The garden's going, and shoo, busy time, but the garden's doing good, and I'm excited about that.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah. So, Miss Genevieve, final thought?
Kent, nice to meet you. Right, Ani.
Absolutely.
Thank you. First of all, I haven't merged with anyone. Like, this is my first out loud conversation with someone in a long time, you know, so for real, thank you for making it like awesome and easy.
Well, thank
you. And yeah, this weekend is, you know, there's a lot going on energy wise. I'm not one of those planet girls, but there's a lot of retrogrades. You know,
yeah, I'm glad you got into that. Please elaborate on that a little bit too, because we never did even get into the new moon.
I don't do all of that, but it's out there, right? So whatever resonates,
this is a strong new moon. I know for intentions. If you want to set intentions, this is the one.
Exactly. It's halfway through the year. It's you know, 12/21, everything. But I want to wrap it with love for the masculine collective. I don't do Mother's Day or Father's Day. I do masculine rising and feminine rising. So thank you for the men totally stepping up, just doing it. And when I say masculine rising, the tensions, the energies, the everything is so high. Merge with that feminine within everyone, because I'm not, you know, everyone, you got this, and we're all in this together, eh? We really are. Reach out. Just
absolutely.
You just start by bouncing around, being you, poking around in comments. And the way I described it once this week is find the people that make you giggle and go from there. Go from there.
You know, it's amazing, and I say it time and time again, but we all found each other. We were all led to one another. So this is not by mistake, and I want to personally welcome you to our soul tribe, our soul family now, because I guarantee you're going to be getting a lot of new viewers over there. You were accepted well, and I'll tell you how many were watching after the show. But anyway,
tell me now.
There was 56 watching most of the night. So you were close. You said 50.
Remember I said 2 to 50?
Yep. So Anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. I'll definitely be having her back on. I think Kent's going to be joining me again Sunday, like I said. And I just thought about it. That's going to be the 21st. So that's going to be our summer solstice show, I guess.
Mhm.
So tune in for that tomorrow night. I think I've got Robert V and Trina. Not really sure, but not, I'll be here by myself or we'll do something. But anyway, until then, be the frequency you want to receive, folks. Get out there and spread some love and light. I love you all. Have a wonderful night.